So thank you very much for the kind introduction, and thank you especially to Tokyu Corporation for hosting the event today in this fantastic venue. I'm very sorry not to be wearing the T-shirt on stage, but I will definitely be wearing it next time I run along the Tamagawa River, so thank you very much for that. So my presentation covers a little bit about the UK's research and innovation strengths, and you've already heard a bit from our ambassador about that. I'll also explain the UK's ecosystem of support that helps maintain and harness these strengths. And thank you very much to Nomura-san for her excellent presentation so far. I'll try to cover the broader national system of support. And also, what are the specific policies to support innovation and entrepreneurship? And I've included a few extra slides which are available to download after the event if you'd like more information. So one of the strengths for the UK is our world-class universities and the system that we have both in terms of education but also research excellence, which helps support innovation. Firstly, we have a strong international reputation for our higher education system. We have 4 of the world's top universities, and I think 28 out of the top 200. And these universities attract students from all around the world. So the UK is actually the second most popular destination for international students, including Japanese students. And we have more than 480,000 overseas students studying in the UK every year. We're very open to that kind of exchange. Also, the UK is engaging and influencing future leaders through our education system. You may not know, but the UK is 10 times more likely than the US to have educated a world leader. And this is an open and innovative higher education system which is producing the skills for innovation and also for future innovation leaders. We also are very proud of our outstanding and productive research base. Our top-ranked universities and forward-thinking research councils conduct high-quality science that feeds the innovation pipeline. The investment in research in the UK actually delivers extremely good value for money. The UK boasts the most productive research base in Europe. We have less than 1% of the world's population, but we're home to 4% of the world's researchers and actually produce 16% of the most cited articles. And along with Japan, we do pretty well on Nobel Prize winners. And we also are home to more European Research Council fellows than any other country. So this is a mark in Europe of the outstanding researchers for the future. So we have a very strong system. It's not just supporting science and invention, but also supports innovation. And the research in the UK is cited in 11% of global patents. We're lucky that we have a broad coverage across all research areas. I think many countries have a particular area or a few particular areas of research where they excel, but the UK is quite unusual in having the breadth of strength across all domains. And this means, particularly for businesses, they can draw on multidisciplinary teams of really excellent researchers to reflect their needs. And it also gives our academic partners a solid grounding in all areas to support innovation. UK universities are very open to business collaboration in that way, and often universities will have a centre to be able to pull together that expertise from across different areas. And there's more information on this in your packs for later. The other aspect of openness of our research base is one of our strengths is around our global reputation. This makes us a hub for research collaboration, and it makes the UK really attractive to foreign partners who recognise the excellence of our research. And in fact, we have 42 UK universities who appear in the list of the 100 most international universities. This is not just about excellence, it's also about international reputation. And we recognise that science is a global enterprise, so we really welcome the flows of knowledge and people. And almost half of UK research articles have at least one non-UK co-author. And they receive, on average, almost 25% more citations than the average per UK paper. So we're really reaching out and collaborating and achieving quality alongside that. And Japan is a very strong partner for us, actually. So every year we have more than 8,000 researchers flowing between UK and Japan, and we have very strong relationships at the institutional level. And the work that's done together, the co-authored papers between UK and Japan, is cited almost 3 times the world average. So it's a real benefit for both countries to be working together. You already heard about the UK placement in global rankings as second in the world, according to the World Intellectual Property Rankings. It's tricky to find a simple measure of innovation strength. We like this one because it places us quite highly. But the things that are referenced within those rankings refer to the strengths in the UK around university business collaboration and our higher education sector. We also boast a significant number of world-class and highly innovative sectors around pharmaceuticals, aerospace, automotive, and vibrant new sectors such as digital design. So I think part of the key to this is having the strong ecosystem for support. And across Britain's public, private, and voluntary sector of research and technology organisations, these employ around 60,000 people and also support approximately 1.4 trillion yen's worth in gross value added contributions to the UK economy. So it's not just something that's for work in ivory towers. This is really creating impact in the economy in the UK. And we have a world-leading community of innovation support bodies, from the Catapult Centres already mentioned, to science parks and internationally respected standards bodies and intellectual property bodies, and also the private sector specialists, some of whom you'll hear from later on with Cambridge Consultants, who can take ideas and help turn them into marketable reality. And we're also really proud of some of the innovation clusters. So you've heard of Tech City already, but we also have Med City in London, and perhaps you've heard of MedTech and media clusters in Manchester, in the northwest of England. But how about Silicon Fen in Cambridge, Silicon Gorge in Bristol and Bath, and Silicon Glen in Edinburgh and Glasgow? And I'm delighted that Stephen can be here today to talk about innovation in Scotland. And the UK government is committed to developing this infrastructure as well. So there's, on the recent spending review, which came out only last week, we heard good news for UK science base and science infrastructure. We have approximately 1.1 trillion yen, which is planned investment up to 2020, to develop our scientific infrastructure, the landscape, the equipment, and to make sure that that equals the best in the world. For businesses, there's also quite a sophisticated ecosystem of support. We have a light touch approach to regulation generally, and a commitment to cutting red tape from the government, which helps clear away barriers to businesses being able to establish themselves and to innovate. We also have policy innovation, which covers quite a wide range of areas, from public-private partnerships that open up innovation in the national infrastructure, to carbon trading systems that provide incentives for energy technology innovation, and also opening up the government's public data sets, which is stimulating social innovation, citizens in the UK getting hold of data and being able to turn that into something that's useful for their community, as well as stimulating a new industry of businesses providing information and analysis services. We also have schemes for access to finance, and I'll say a bit more about that in a minute, and tax incentives to do R&D in the UK. So this is not just for UK businesses, but for any business coming into the UK. At 20%, it's the lowest corporate tax rate in the G20, and generous R&D tax credits and patent box incentives. So there's a bit more information here about the investment from the government, which is increasing in these kinds of financial incentives. Here you have the R&D tax credit system. And this ecosystem of support is making UK one of the best places in the world to develop ideas and also grow an innovative business. So I thought something colourful for this afternoon. I'm sorry, it's so complex. And there's work to do, I think, to take this range of different support that's available in the UK and the landscape in the UK, and to try to simplify this to make it easier for businesses to access support for innovation. But I'll talk you through some of the main aspects of the policies to support innovation first. So overall, our vision for UK science and innovation strategy is to make the UK the best place in the world to do science, and as I said, grow an innovative business. And I think the key words from the strategy pick up what Ms. Nomura was saying around openness and also around networks. So networks in terms of collaboration, so networks in terms of collaboration, and also networks in terms of place and local networks to bring people together. We have an industrial strategy which was set up after the Lehman crash in 2008. The government was working with business to develop ways to boost the UK economy again and to rebalance the economy towards particularly supporting manufacturing and new sectors for manufacturing. So the industrial strategy was launched by the government in 2013, and it outlines the long-term ambitions for the UK to create improved employment opportunities and also increase economic growth by government working in partnership with industry. And the strategy actually have several different sector strategies behind it, and each of these were developed working with business sector councils. And they focus on the key sectors across the UK economy where a strong partnership is needed between government, agencies and business community. There are some of the sectors shown here, but actually it's not intended to be exhaustive, and you'll see that issues like high-value manufacturing are an important theme across several of these different sectors. And within each strategy, they cover a wide range of areas. So technologies is an important aspect of that, but also procurement and what the government does in terms of procurement, the skills that are needed for the future of each sector, and also access to finance, particularly to make sure there's support for a pipeline of business ventures in each sector. So on technologies, the government has worked with business to identify 8 great technologies for the UK. So these are the ones that represent where UK has a major existing strength, particularly within the research base, and also the potential to make a major and disruptive difference to both the sectors of our strategy and also society in general. And I think there's probably quite a good read across on these technology areas to the ones that Japan is also working on for the growth strategy. The government's been making a set of investments, and you'll see some figures on the slides here about the investments in each area. And there's plans to continue this activity through building up specific aspects of the infrastructure. Last December, the government of the day produced a science and innovation strategy, and this was focused on ensuring that the world of science and innovation continues to attract and develop the brightest minds to come to the UK and to work in the UK, and also investing in the science infrastructure, as I've mentioned, and particularly catalysing innovation, not just at a national level, but at a regional level, and also being open to partnerships at a global level too. So I'll say a little bit about some of the funding bodies in this area. So we have in the UK, we have a dual support system for supporting university activity. So we have research councils providing grants for specific projects and programmes, and we also have a set of funding councils who provide the block grants that go to universities to support the research infrastructure. And this funding gives the capacity to undertake the research that's commissioned by the private sector, by government departments, by charities who are very important funders of research in the UK, and also the funding from EU and from international bodies. To give you an idea of where the public funding goes and how much, the largest funding pot is from the higher education funding councils, you'll see on the left. Next largest pot is for the research capability and facilities through UK's research councils. And then there's a substantial chunk for business-led innovation in key areas through Innovate UK. So Innovate UK is the leading innovation agency in our country and has a budget of £536 million effectively. So it's the smallest of all of those funders, but certainly one of the most significant in terms of business-led innovation. And since it was established in 2007, it's assisted more than 5,000 companies and helped to generate more than 35,000 new jobs. And that's one of the key measures for it. It's not just about setting up projects, but what the impact will be and how do businesses see the body working. You've already heard a little bit from Nomura-san about UK catapult centres, and I'm really pleased to say we now have 10 centres, 3 more being established, one around energy systems, one around precision medicine, and another one on medical technologies also being established. And they give access to business for state-of-the-art facilities, for skilled resources, so people who can work collaboratively with businesses on innovation projects, and also give them access to a dynamic network environment, so a neutral environment where businesses can actually come together and work together on projects. This is one of the key programmes for Innovate UK, but there is a really wide range of other programmes. Let me just tell you just about a few, so I'll pick out a few from these slides. There's the knowledge transfer networks, which help networking between businesses and bring people together around specific themes. So they're the blue and yellow logo on the slide. You've also heard from Nomura-san about the knowledge transfer partnerships that enable experts in universities and colleges to help small businesses improve their competitiveness. And also there are funding around and schemes to support how the government can run competitions for businesses. So the SBRI, the Small Business Research Initiative, really opens up public sector procurements to smaller innovative businesses and helps them get involved. So it's not just the big players in the UK that can help support delivery of innovative public services. Policies for innovation are developed at the national level in partnership with businesses and research institutions, but local enterprise partnerships bring together the business and civic leaders to set economic strategy at a local level, and they're really empowered to take the decisions that will allow their local area to prosper. So here's a map of the different local enterprise partnerships, and they work together to ensure that the best possible support is delivered at the local level. So this includes things like strengthening of local innovation ecosystems, building local capabilities, supporting local supply chains to invest and collaborate, catalysing and leveraging the differing opportunities for social innovation, and also the branding and positioning of places as centres for smart specialisation and as unique centres for a particular area of innovation. Our universities are also crucial in innovation. So they're not just focused on world-class research, but they're also focused on supporting innovation much more directly. So they can help firms access relevant expertise, offer facilities, offer partnerships, which can increase the level of new-to-market innovations. And university research itself can be a source of innovative small businesses through spin-out companies, but also there's an important role that they play in training the next generation of innovators and entrepreneurs. And there's quite a broad range of policy measures now aimed at encouraging this role for universities. Just one example here are the new university enterprise zones. These provide a focus for increasing the interaction between universities and businesses. And each one is supported by a partnership between the university, those local enterprise partnerships that I showed you, and also others like other local businesses. And this identifies the geographical location of a particular zone, and they build a strategy and approach which will help the zone to contribute to local or national economic growth. And government support for this includes the capital funding, and it includes the support to develop the spaces in particular areas. So you can see here examples from the north of England in digital health in Bradford and Leeds. In Liverpool they have a sensors enterprise zone, Bristol around robotics, and we have some representatives on robotics here today actually at the IREX exhibition at Big Site, which I hope you'll take a look at the British booth if you get a chance to go there this week. And also in Nottingham on technologies. So there's a range of ways that universities support entrepreneurship and innovation. Of course, through business schools, but also through innovative cross-disciplinary master's courses, so offering the training for entrepreneurship alongside core postgraduate studies in a specific subject. You've already heard about the case studentships as a way of encouraging engagement with industry. We also have centres for doctoral training in a wide range of areas, I think more than 100 across a range of different universities, where you get PhD students who are spending time engaging with industry and working on industry problems and are really well equipped either to go into a role in industry or, if they remain in academia, to understand how you work well with businesses to really help support and deliver their needs. Here are a few examples of the partnerships that have been built between UK universities and research base and businesses. And I've deliberately chosen some of the Japanese businesses here. But you can see there are a wide range of areas from life sciences in the top left and the bottom right through to robotics, engineering and quantum technologies, and some very significant Japanese companies and investment in the UK, driven by the expertise that's there and the willingness to work with business. I'll very quickly finally tell you a bit about the entrepreneurship support. As you heard from our ambassador, the UK has a strong culture of creativity and invention and an entrepreneurial mindset. And I think that comes through in the data on the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor as well. And from the internet to hypodermic syringe, we've got a proud track record of giving the world life-changing products and designs. And we want UK to be famous not just for fish and chips, but also for the microchips designed by UK company Arm, and almost certainly present, I think, in the smartphones in everybody's pockets or out on the desks today. And you may already know some famous UK entrepreneurs, such as Charles Rolls, the founder of Rolls-Royce, James Dyson, founder of Dyson, Anita Roddick, who is the founder of the Body Shop, which I think there's an example there in the shopping centre. And coming back to the present day, one of the first acts of our current government was to announce a new enterprise bill, which will offer further support to remove regulation and support small businesses in particular. And a range of support, including the Business is Great campaign and Entrepreneurs in Residence campaign, to reach out and support business, but also to be listening to business and to understand particularly what smaller businesses and entrepreneurs need in terms of government support. And as you heard already, there's a range of support for encouraging entrepreneurs and innovators to come to the UK through the visa system and through awards like the UK Japan Tech Awards. And the Sirius programme, I think, is a nice example there of attracting that talent to come and work in the UK. The system we think, is working. There are plans to do more. So UK's innovation infrastructure really does attract investment. We're a very popular destination, I think the most popular in Europe for foreign direct investment. And I should also say that manufacturing in the UK is very much alive, partly because of the innovation that's going into this, into new areas, into high value areas. And we want to encourage more Japanese companies to join the 1,300 that are already present in the UK. So we want them to join Toyota, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, 225 other Japanese companies who are manufacturing in the UK. And I think there's a perception the UK doesn't manufacture anything, but in fact we're the 7th largest manufacturing nation in the world. And last year we attracted more new manufacturing investment than Germany. And we want to stay in those top ranks. And I think reaching out and the openness that we have in our systems is an important aspect of that. Finally, I think you heard about the Innovation is Great campaign. We've got a strong ambition to be the best place in the world, to develop ideas and to grow an innovative business. And we've got a wide range of policies and measures to support innovation in the UK. And it's often hard to know which will be the small businesses that grow ahead of time. So we're working to create a system that allows a wide range of firms to thrive, and that anybody with an innovative idea can get the finance, can find the support, can be nurtured by the network of innovation ecosystem that we have in the UK. And our systems and schemes and incentives are open to international businesses and partners. So we're very keen to build our partnerships with Japan in particular. So, ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Ms.